Hey guys, welcome to Southern Gal True Crime, where we cover missing persons, cold cases, unsolved cases, and more. But today we're going to be taking a look at some current true crime regarding Alex Murdaugh, the Alex Murdaugh case. I'm sure everyone knows about this case, and most importantly, his decision to take the stand. When I got home from work yesterday, tried to get caught up on some of the news out there, and I saw that he was taking the stand. My first question was, why is he taking the stand? And most importantly, my second thought was, why is his attorney allowing him to take the stand? Because we know in most cases, especially murder cases, the defendant does not take the stand for obvious reasons. But there are exceptions to the rule, and apparently this is one. So I got to digging around some more and looking at some more stuff, and I found this article from WYFF4.com. I put a link to the whole article over on the Southern Gal True Crime Facebook page. I'm just going to get some basic info here. It says Alex Murdaugh takes stand in South Carolina murder trial, fielding defense and prosecution questions. Alex Murdaugh took the stand in his own double murder trial Thursday against the advice of his counsel. So that answered my question about the attorney. It says Murdaugh stated, "I'm going to testify. I want to testify." So as of right now, of course, we don't know the reasonings behind his decision to testify. Every case is different, different reasonings, different situations, different circumstances, different evidence. So like I said, right now we don't know why he made the decision to testify. Maybe eventually we will find out. But that also got me to thinking about the reasonings behind why a defendant should or shouldn't testify, or why they make the decision to testify or not to testify. And once again, the reasonings are obvious. So I came across another article from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and once again I put a link to the whole article on the Southern Gal True Crime Facebook page. You can head over there and check it out. I just wanted to read some quotes and highlights from the article that I found were interesting. So the article says, devoted watchers of TV crime shows know this is pretty standard, that the defendant does not take the stand. Legally, the defendant has no obligation to testify. Practically, even an innocent defendant may suffer serious damage on cross-examination by a skilled prosecutor. That's obvious to anyone who follows true crime or has watched trials. Atlanta criminal defense attorney Jack Martin, who has tried numerous high-profile cases, advocates strongly against a defendant taking the stand. He says, when the client testifies, it turns the case into whether the prosecution proved its case and into whether the jury believes your client. He goes on to say, typically you want the jury to answer the first question and not the second question. And a defendant who takes the stand has an almost impossible job, in Mr. Martin's opinion. And to me, this, in my opinion, is the relevant part to the Murdaugh case that we're discussing. Even the best actors can't pull it off, he said. Jurors are looking for every little thing. So if the client becomes emotional, the jury will think they're crocodile tears. If they show no emotion, they can be seen as cold and relentless. And just from the little clips I've seen of Murdaugh's testimony, he can pretty much turn on the waterworks at the drop of a hat. But then again, he can also turn them off and become stone-faced. So, remains to be seen whether this will help or not help the case. Mr. Martin also goes on citing Wayne Williams, convicted in 1982 in the Atlanta child murders case, as a prime example of the perils of putting your client on the stand. Under direct examination from his own attorney, Williams came across as a mild and geeky guy, Martin said. But under cross-examination from the prosecutor, Williams lost his cool and became angrier and angrier, and the jury saw a person who could be prone to violence. And in my opinion, that is the most important conveyance to a jury, is if the defendant is prone to violence. Once again, that's my opinion. Martin goes on to say, allowing a defendant to testify on his or her behalf can be just as dangerous for someone who's innocent as it is for someone who's guilty. The innocent person doesn't know what happened, so sometimes it'll look like they're hiding something, and the guilty person knows exactly what happened and can contrive an explanation. And of course, the judge instructs the jury not to draw any conclusions from a defendant's decision not to take the stand, but the jurors, being human, as we all are, still wonder, and they maybe put themselves in the defendant's place and conclude that they would take the stand in their own defense. The defendant may insist on testifying, but a poor performance on the stand can punch a hole in the defense below the waterline. In other words, totally sink the case. And it's widely considered by most attorneys that if the client doesn't absolutely need to take the stand, you're better off not putting them there. One attorney was quoted as saying, "Keep in mind, a trial is a live performance, especially in this day and age of social media and 24/7 coverage of these high-profile cases like the Murdaugh case. You can't always predict what the DA is going to ask them, and you can't predict their answers." And to me, that statement is particularly true, in my opinion, because an attorney can, and the defendant can go practice the testimony, rehearse it, but when it comes down to the actual trial, where everything becomes real, nobody knows how they're going to react and what emotions will come bubbling to the surface and come out. Once again, that's my opinion, my thoughts. Why did Alex Murdaugh testify? I think, once again, my opinion, maybe to garner some sympathy from the jurors. But on the other hand, it could be that he is totally innocent and he just wanted to get his version of the story on record, or his account of the events that happened that night. Should he have testified? Once again, my opinion, in a case this high profile and with the history of the Murdaugh family and all the events that took place before these actual crimes, I wouldn't have, if I was his attorney, I would have done the same thing and said, no, don't testify. But whether or not it will hurt or help the case, ultimately, it will remain to be seen. Hopefully, after the conclusion of the trial, we might get some insight into if it did help or hurt the case. Let's see, look at my notes. I think that's about all I have. But I would love to hear what you guys think. So leave a comment. Everybody's opinion is welcome here. Just always be respectful of each other and be respectful to the victims and the victims' families. If you like the content that we have here on the channel, please do subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications of when we upload new content. Like and share our videos. Most importantly, our missing persons and unsolved case features, because that's the most important thing that I want to do here, is to try to get the info out to the public about our missing persons and unsolved cases, to try to do a little part in helping get some resolution and some closure for the victims and the victims' families, who are always the most important part of a case. Thanks for watching. Everybody take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.